Ta-da! What do you guys think? The Ronin-S. I've been waiting for this since before it was even released, and I just received it the other day. Wait, what's today? Yeah, 2 days ago. Got it 2 days ago, and I gotta tell you, it has not disappointed yet. I have not been able to nearly use it as much as I want to yet, but already I am 110% pleased. Now, this is going to be a unboxing / initial review. It's not an in-depth review by any means because I haven't had the opportunity to work with it enough to give it an in-depth review. But you saw the unboxing there, which I had a blast filming, even though I couldn't use it to film. And I have had a little bit of time to work with it outside with my dogs and things like that. So we're gonna talk about a couple of my first impressions. Now, you've seen videos, I'm sure, all over YouTube about the Ronin-S. It is one of the hottest items on the video market right now. And so I'm gonna try not to echo the same things that everyone else is saying. However, with that said, there's not much else to say. I mean, the consensus is pretty clear. It is an awesome gimbal, an excellent piece of machinery and craftsmanship. So on that note, of course, the minute you pull it out of the box, you can tell the build quality is there. Absolutely solid and sturdy. It feels like a much more expensive piece of equipment than it is at just $6.99, which is a killer deal if you ask me. The grips feel great in the hand, both the battery grip and the tripod grip, and it really makes for a nice, comfortable way to hold it when you're doing two-handed work. Now, like I mentioned in the title, when I first got it, I was concerned that it was broken. I think we all kind of go through that at some point when you buy an expensive piece of equipment, especially if it's brand new to the market and there's not that many of them available and you waited weeks for it to be shipped from China or whatever the case may be. You receive it, you pull it out, and something doesn't work the way that you expect it to, and you're like, in the back of your mind thinking, oh my God, of course I get the broken one. Why is mine broken? Why doesn't it work the way it's supposed to? And I will admit that totally went through my mind. I thought that something was off with it and I was gonna have to send it back and wait another 2 weeks just for it to get sent back to me. But fortunately, that was not the case. So I'm gonna tell you what the issue was, because I imagine some of you out there will probably experience this same issue as well, and I don't want you to freak out and think you got a defective product. So here's the issue I was having, guys. Under normal operation, if I tilt it to the right or left, the camera should stay fairly stable without any issues. However, what was happening is when I would go to tilt it to the right or left, it would all of a sudden become jerky and flip over and do all this weird stuff when I got to about right there. And I was like, what's going on? Why is it doing that? Same thing when I tried to set it up for the 360-degree roll. I did all the settings they told me to in the app. You can find those on other YouTube videos. And when I put it into flashlight mode, just like this, instead of rolling 360 degrees like it was supposed to, it would get about a third of the way through and then start freaking out just like it was when I was tilting it back and forth. So I was really confused. I didn't know what the problem was. I was following all the instructions as best I could and everything checked out in the app. Bottom line is, it all comes down to balancing it correctly. I imagine some of you probably guessed that just from the start of the video. Overall, the Ronin-S is very easy to balance. I was very impressed with how intuitive it was to get to where it needed to be. It really didn't take that long, and once you do it once, it even goes faster the next time. However, in the instructions and even in DJI's own video, there is one axis on here that's a little bit confusing to understand how it should be balanced, and that is the roll axis. This one right here at the base where the handle meets the top part of the gimbal. And in the instructions, it's very difficult to kind of understand what you should be looking for or how you know if it's correct. In DJI's balancing video, they illustrate it much better, so you do get a better sense of it. And as it turned out, that was the problem I was having with my gimbal. Now, The reason why it wasn't so obvious to me is because once I got it balanced and everything more or less seemed to be working, I ran the diagnostics to check the balance within the app, and everything said excellent. Pan, roll, tilt, all checked out as excellent. So I didn't think that there was anything wrong with the balance. So I just had to go back and go to the basics. I double checked the balance on everything, and when it finally came down to that roll axis, I looked on DJI's side, I saw their video, and I saw how they recommend to test it. Basically what you should be able to do is to tilt it one direction or another and have it stay where it is, just like that. And we'll go the other direction. Okay. If when you do this, it starts rolling to one side or another, it's not balanced correctly. And that's what the case was for me. So you had to move this bottom one forward or backwards until you got it to the point where it didn't move when tilted. Once I got that fixed, the roll worked perfect, tilting it worked perfect, everything was great. So again, the app had previously told me that everything was excellent, which is why I didn't understand and why I didn't think to really check it again. But it's important that you get this one balanced correctly or you will have problems. And so make sure your front foot is pointed forward when you're balancing it, and then just tilt it on the 45-degree axes. So we'll go 45 to the right and 45 to the left. And as long as it doesn't swing one side or the other, then you're okay. All right, so other first impressions. This thing is buttery smooth. 99% of the time, you don't even feel the motors working. They just work. I really like how it comes with the lens support here, gives extra stability so that when you're moving it around, you don't get any lens bounce. And the gimbal overall holds the camera solid. I'm using my 5DS here. Certainly this can handle much larger payloads than this, but this isn't the smallest payload, and I've never been in fear of the camera falling out of the gimbal. I've had it upside down, to the left, to the right, all over the place, and it is solid in there. The other thing is I love how they give you the 1/4 screw at the bottom where the tripod feet go. This allows you to use other attachments like this painter's pole. I can add it on here and extend this up to 4 feet. It allows you to get these awesome shots and angles like a crane shot, which can be used for real estate or just anytime you want a higher angle, and really works well and feels ergonomic at the same time. It holds the gimbal securely, and although you can't use the controls on the gimbal while you have it up that high, you can just preset it and it works just fine. Now the other part to this is I really like how they are working towards making it friendly towards all brands of cameras. And of course, right now, things like the focus wheel will only work with Panasonic cameras. And there are certain other features that are lacking from other brands. But they are working towards enabling all of these features to be used with all brands of cameras. Currently with the Canon cameras, we can't use the focus wheel yet. I am looking forward to that capability, but we can use the controls here, including the record button. So we don't have to hit record on the camera. We can use it right here on the control surface by your thumb. And that is achieved by the included cable, which is an IR cable. So it plugs into the side here and it goes up and around and goes right in front of your IR sensor on your camera. So while it is perhaps a little, I don't want to say clunky, but it's not the most aesthetically clean look. The cable does hold its shape. It's very bendy and will hold its position so it won't flop around. And then they include a little strap here, a little Velcro type strap that you can hold it secure to the gimbal as well. Really appreciate that they are working hard to make it as friendly to all brands as possible and enable functionality to get the most out of the gimbal across all brands. I love how it has 3 programmable user settings. 1, 2, and 3. You can change between the user settings with one hit of the mode button, and you can pre-program those any way you want. By holding the M button down, the little light will turn yellow, indicating that you have entered sports mode. You'll notice that in regular mode, there can be a little bit of lag if that's how you set it. Okay, but when I hold down the M button for sports mode, much more responsive. Up, down, left, right. Just like with many other gimbals like the Osmo or the Smooth Mobile, which you've seen here on the channel, I use quite a bit, it has a trigger button. The trigger does all the things that we've come to expect a trigger to do. Double tap to reset, triple tap to do selfie mode, which I will be using. Don't know how much, because the only thing is it does get pretty heavy when you're holding it straight out like this, which you have to do if you're using it for vlogging. Real quickly on that note though, yes, everybody talks about how heavy this is. It is certainly a decent amount of weight, to be sure. However, when not holding it straight out in a vlogging type situation, it actually is quite manageable. Hit 2 clicks on the trigger to reset it around, and if I have it in close to my body, particularly if I'm using 2 hands, I could go for a good amount of time like this. It's not horrible, at least not with this camera. Trigger also allows you to lock it in place if you hold it down, so hold the trigger, it'll stay in place, locked onto the subject that you are pointing it at. There are some other functions you can use it for as well, such as auto-tuning the motors when used in conjunction with the mode button on the front. So overall guys, I am very pleased with the Ronin-S so far. Again, I'm looking forward to using it much more here in the coming days, weeks, and months. So far, I've taken it outside a little bit, done some things with the dogs, and some things throughout the house, which you've seen, but I'm looking forward to making more full-length feature type things here soon. Well, that's about it for me today, guys. Really appreciate you being here. If you got the Ronin-S, go ahead and leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think of it. Let me know if you have any questions, if you're considering buying one for yourself. I'm happy to talk all about it. I'm looking forward to using it a lot more. Give this video a like if you found it useful. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, hit that little bell icon so you can get notified every time I upload a new video. Great seeing you. Have a great day. We'll catch you later. Hey, Cosmo, go lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Or go out. No. Lay down.